Welcome back. I am the Dumpster Friar. In our last video, we went over examples and reasons on why it's important to be skeptical in the face of a society in which we are inundated with pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, and bullshit. Today, we will tackle religion and why it's important to be skeptical in the face of those telling you to believe things that are contrary to what evidence shows. Religion is designed to hijack your curiosity and your desire to seek truth. It's carefully engineered with built-in mechanisms for dealing with doubt, apparent contradictions, and the consistent lack of evidence. If ever there were a word that should offend people and deemed inappropriate to be used in public, that F word would be faith. According to the Bible, faith is a powerful thing. So powerful, in fact, you can move mountains with mustard seeds. You don't have to walk by sight anymore. You can walk by faith. And like in Mark chapter 11, verse 24 says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in your prayers, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Bullshit. Does anyone honestly buy into that? That you can just close your eyes and think of anything you want, anything at all, and it will be yours? Well, how's it working? Right now, I'm praying that I end up in Channing Tatum's lap. Does anyone see him? I didn't think so. You could also consider Colossians chapter 3, verse 2, which says, "Set your affection on things above, not on things of the earth." In other words, pay no attention to reality or what may seem to be contradicting whatever you believe. Instead, hold fast to your convictions. After all, you can't lose your faith-based belief if you don't acknowledge there is any alternative in the first place. Stick your head in the sand, ostrich. It will all be over soon. Then there's 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. "We look not at the things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen." They don't pay me enough. What does that even mean? You look at the things which are not seen, and not at things which are seen. Bloody hell. You mean people actually believe this? People buy into it. They swear by it. They say amen and nod their heads when hearing verses like this. Complete rubbish. This is nothing more than acting as a justification for holding a specific belief or a safeguard for those who can't provide evidence to counter demonstrable data that disproves their claim. As it says in John chapter 20, verse 29, "Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet believe." Blessed are they, not committed, not assisted, not explained why that doesn't work. They are #blessed. How convenient. And let's not forget Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. No, 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 no. Faith is not evidence of anything. In fact, it's the exact opposite. If you have evidence, you don't need faith. Faith's sole existence is to act as a substitute for evidence, either due to the lack of or in direct defiance of evidence. If you are content with believing something even though it may not be true, this video is not for you. But if you value truth, if you really value truth, then you must evaluate your beliefs. and ensure that they are valid and reliable and not comforting or convenient. Carl Sagan once said, "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence." Our first content creator also has a catchy quote. He says, "If you can't show it, then bitch you don't know it." Please, take it away, Aaron Ra.
I understand a fool to be someone who too readily accepts improbable claims from questionable sources on insufficient evidence. I am skeptical because I want to be nobody's fool. It's not that I refuse to believe anything. It's that I don't want to be fooled into believing things that aren't even real. I want to know that I'm on the right track, so the things that I believe have to be at least evidently true, or I'll reject it if it's not.
I personally think it's weird that people even question the value of skepticism. Skepticism is basically just a mindset of wanting to check on stuff to see if you have good reason to believe in it. If someone says an old car they want to sell you runs perfectly, you would want to check and see if they were correct. That's skepticism. And it doesn't matter whether it's selling you a car, trying to get you into multi-level marketing, charging you money to speak to your dead loved ones, or saying you can improve your bad habits by praying to Jesus. All involve claims that require you to make major, sometimes life-altering decisions. If you develop a habit of checking on stuff, or being skeptical, you will be far less susceptible to making poor decisions. Is this ever a bad thing?
Hey guys, so I actually think that skepticism is more important now than just about at any other point in recent history, and that's for a few reasons. One, the internet, in case you didn't realize it, it could be a pretty fucking confusing place. Number two, we have this pathological, lying, orange, Oompa Loompa asshole for president who has basically turned this into an alternative facts / fake news world. And so it's never been more important to have tools that allow us to discern fact from fiction and to discover those facts and disseminate them to the masses.
Why should you be a skeptic? Because if you're not, one way or another, you're gonna get hurt. Whether it's that the rustle in the bushes might be the wind or the hungry tiger, or whether that offer is a legitimate business opportunity or a pyramid scam, or if it really is a god or just people believing in fairy tales, it's the skeptic who asks the question, it's the skeptic who checks to make sure, so it's the skeptic who has less chance of getting burned. Why should you be a skeptic? Because taking things on faith makes you vulnerable.
The most dangerous cult leaders are the most magnanimous, pulling you in with friendly magnetism, masquerading the authority role of a good shepherd. Oxymoron. Even the best shepherds fleece and slaughter their flocks. Don't seek out a shepherd, find teachers. Teachers who encourage questions and who don't shy away from the truth, duck responsibility, or fear being called out. Skepticism is our greatest defense against charlatans because it fosters caution. It looks for motives and wants evidence to substantiate a claim. Skepticism isn't cynicism. It's a quest for truth, from the necessary baseline that truth withstands scrutiny. It protects us from fraud, con artists, tyrannical liars, and dogmatic manipulation to our detriment. Healthy skepticism applies the scientific method of testing a claim to every relevant aspect of life, because truth doesn't fear the light. It's vindicated by investigation. And the moment that someone tells you to look the other way, go with the flow, and not ask questions, is the moment that questioning becomes a moral responsibility to the truth.
It is an amazing time to be an atheist, probably the best time to be an atheist that has ever existed. Skepticism is on the rise, and the number of people who are religious nons is growing all the time. But as a skeptic, I'm wary of something that I see, and that is that while mainstream religion seems to be on the decline, religiosity isn't going anywhere. At least not as fast as you might think it is if you look at those religious non-statistics. There's a lot of people that are trading in that Bible for pseudoscientific spiritual things. And these things are harmful, and I don't just mean in the way Jilly Juice is, where if you actually drank the recommended dosage, you'd start to die because of the sodium content. It's also the way people make ill-informed decisions as they consult something like their horoscope, which is something most of us probably think is silly, but I assure you, there are many people taking very seriously. And things also get into the very physically dangerous. You have these things like homeopathy, like cures like. You take
Hi, I'm Katie Paulson of Without a Crystal Ball. I think as parents, we want the best for our kids. We don't want to see them suffer. We see children with autism when we think that life can never be good for them. And when I see this, I see parents desperately scramble to find a way to cure their children. And I see people that are in the sidelines that are waiting to offer them harmful therapies. There's parents that make their children drink bleach. There's parents that have their children drink turpentine. There are parents that have their children go through dangerous chelation protocols to strip their body of heavy metals. None of these therapies are approved. None of them cure autism. There's no cure for autism. And the problem is, if you're not skeptical, you will believe these people when they tell you they have the answer. You should be skeptical. There is always proof. There should always be proof for any claim. Understand and educate yourself and know that if something is too good to be true, it probably is.